Well, hello, my friends, and happy What If Wednesday. I am Mendhi Audlin, and today is not just What If Wednesday, today is Ash Wednesday. So I thought for this week we do something a little bit different, a little bit fun. For many people, this is kicking off a season of Lent. 1 in 4 Americans participates in Lent, the 40-day challenge of giving something up. So that's what we're going to talk about today is what can we release? What can we let go of? And what is the possibility for transformation and positive change that can come from that? So it's great to have you here. Would love to hear from you. Post in the comments. Let me know that you're here, how your day is going, what your wins are from the week. I love hearing from you. So for me, I did not grow up super religious. I was not Catholic, although my very best friend was when I was, sixth or seventh grade. My best friend was a practicing Catholic, and I remember learning about Lent from her because it was always this big deal. The big reveal is what is she going to give up this year for Lent? And I remember her like for the full 40 days, like talking about what she'd given up, and it was kind of like a cool thing. And I remember there was one year when I decided I was going to do that with her. I like, well, I'll pick something, and for 40 days, I'll give that up and I'll just see what happens. So it was kind of nice because I had her as support. And I don't remember what she gave up that year, but I do remember that my very first Lent experience, tagging along with my Catholic friend, was that I gave up caffeine. Now, I was a teenager and I can't remember exactly how old. I think I was probably 13, maybe 14. And I had grown up, I drank sodas all the time. Like Coke was my go to. I like hydrated with Coke. And so I decided to give up caffeine. And that meant all of the Dr. Peppers and Pepsis and all the things that were so pervasive in my childhood. Gave all that up. I didn't realize at the time when I said I was giving up caffeine. One of my friends said, there's caffeine in chocolate. And I went, ah. So that was a tough one. Felt like a sacrifice. I didn't drink coffee at the time, so that wasn't a big deal. But I decided for 40 days, let's see what happens. And I remember the first week, it was kind of challenging because I had this habit around, here's my go-to beverage, and now I'm doing something different. And so I found that I had some tools, and I'm going to share those with you today in case you decide to take on the challenge of letting go and giving up a habit. But the beautiful thing that I found after the end of my first 40 days, here was the transformation. I ended up, of course, Easter came and I was like all in the chocolate. So I'm like, I'm back to chocolate. But I found that at the end of those 40 days that I found that I discovered some non-caffeinated sodas. They were just fine, and that I was okay without a lot of the stuff that I thought I needed in the past. And that is really, to me, the power of taking on a challenge like this. So I'm going to lay it down for you today. Lay down a challenge. This is going to be a 7-day challenge for our What If Up community if you choose to take it on. A challenge of, in the spirit of Lent, of letting something go. So I want to share with you 3 ideas for how to let go and what to let go of so that you can kind of think it through and decide how you might want to challenge yourself. Are you ready? Okay, so here's the first one. First of all, this one is sort of the main one that we think of when we think of Lent, and that is to give up a habit. So just talking in terms of behavior, giving up caffeine for me was giving up a habit. Maybe, I heard in 1984, the Republic of Ireland had made this day a national no smoking day. So maybe you have a habit or a behavior that you're like, okay, today's the day. Today's the day I let that go. So whether it's caffeine or sugar or dairy, like right now, I'm in the midst of this nutritional cleanse. And as part of this, I'm at least 40, 50 days into this. I've given up caffeine. I've given up sugar. I've given up dairy. And what I found, and this is the invitation, what I found when you give something up, it creates a void, right? So here is this tradition I had. I would get up early with my husband and we would have a cup of coffee together every morning. That was our tradition. So when I gave up caffeine, now there's this void. What do I do? What do I do in the space where the coffee used to be there? And if you can intentionally look for alternatives what happens is that void is a really rich creative space. If you want to create positive change, find something you don't want to do anymore and then intentionally fill that void. So I'll share with you, as I gave up coffee, I'm 50 days into being caffeine free, but I still have my morning time with my husband, and we still have this lovely tradition. But what we found, this is such a cool discovery. I just have to share it with you. What we found is New Orleans roast chicory that we order online. We've been doing chicory as a replacement for coffee. It's organic. It's got no caffeine. And I even got like little chicory seeds. I'm going to try growing it in my garden next year because I love it so much. Put some coconut cream in it, no dairy, and I am absolutely loving my new morning habit. So that's the possibility. Maybe you give something up for a little while just to see what it's like, and maybe you go back to it, or maybe it's a transformation and you're forever better for having gone through this experiment. Karen's in the house. Hi, Karen. Oh, another meeting with Kenya. We are what if upping around the world. What if this is something that we can take to all the corners of the globe? In fact, the Lent tradition has been around since like 300 BC. So the idea of giving something up, it's not exclusive to the Catholics. It happens in all around the world in all kinds of different cultures. So the idea is to let go of something, to let go of, in this case, what if you let go of a habit? So in the comments, think about what is a habit that you might want to let go of. We're going to do this as a 7-day challenge here in our What If Up Club. So if there were a habit you wanted to let go of, what would it be? What if you let go of caffeine or sugar or processed foods? Or what if you let go of smoking? Or what if you let go of, I don't know, what else? What are some habits that you have that you might want to let go of? For me, all right, I'm going to lay it down. Here's what I'm going to do for this 7-day challenge. For me, I have a habit sometimes sometimes it's a habit. When I go to bed at night, if I'm not like really wound down from my day, I go into Netflix and I binge watch, and I particularly love to binge watch the rom-coms. Love it. The cheesier, the better. But what I find is I end up staying up way later than I should, not getting as much sleep as I should. And am I really all the better for having watched that same rom-com for the 10th time, right? So I am going to let go of that habit. And for this challenge, no Netflix binge watching late at night when I should be sleeping. Instead, what I'm going to replace that with is I've got a stack of magazines that I've been wanting to read. So I'm going to get caught up on my magazines. I also have a stack of books that I'd like to read. So I'm going to replace my late night rom-com Netflix binge with reading before I go to bed. So I'm going to say that's what I'm going to take on. I would love to hear from you. What do you want to take on as a new habit? And what do you want to let go of as a habit that maybe isn't serving you in the highest form? So that's one way you can participate, is by giving up a behavior, a habit, something that you do. All right, so I'm going to next level the challenge. Are you ready? All right, so you can give up a habit. You can also give up an attitude. So what does that mean, to give up an attitude? Well, to give up an attitude is really to have the awareness to notice thought patterns. What are the thought patterns that you run? You've got a pattern that pops up whenever it gets triggered. And maybe that thought pattern is not productive. Maybe it's not kind. Maybe it's not reflective of who you want to be. So one of the challenges you might choose to take on in this 7-day challenge is to give up an attitude. Or maybe you want to give up for Lent. You want to give up an attitude, a way of being critical. Maybe I want to stop being so critical of my partner or my kids or my neighbors or the government. I'm going to stop being critical of that. I'm going to stop being judgmental about things that I really don't know anything about. So maybe you want to give up worrying. Maybe you're worried about things that you have no control over, and it's not supporting you in terms of having happiness and peace in your life. So what is an attitude? Maybe it's that poor me type of attitude? What is it that you notice you have a pattern around that you might want to give up for Lent? Or if 40 days is too much, maybe just the 7-day challenge here in our What If Up Club. So think about it. What is an attitude that you might want to give up? For me, I love thinking about when I talk about giving something up, a lot of times that has like a negative connotation, right? What do I want to give that up? But when I think about attitudes, what I think about when I give something up, especially in terms of an attitude that is not reflective of who I know my highest self to be, I like to take that old idea and literally give it up, like give it to a higher power. Like, what if I were to take those thoughts, those attitudes that I know are not serving me, and I know they're sometimes not kind, they don't reflect who I want to be. What if I give that mindset up into a higher way of thinking and replace those thoughts with something different? So for me, I was thinking about like, what do I want to give up as an attitude? As an attitude. And, I kind of am thinking about right now, I have a lot of things going, like things are growing, things are expanding. And as a business owner, that's super exciting on the one hand. And on the other hand, it means that I have a lot of administrative things to do that I've been kind of like, "Bleh." Like, I don't like this. I don't want to be doing this stuff. So I have had some resistance, some poor me, some victim types of attitudes related to all of the paperwork and the contracts and the filings of things that need to get done so I can do the thing that I really love to do, which is being here with you and bringing this work out into the world. So, what if instead of complaining about the mountains of paperwork, what if I actually recognize that they are signs of growth? And what if I celebrate getting the things done that give me the platform to be able to be here with all of you? So, what if that is the shift that I step into? So, I'm going to take that on as a challenge for the next 7 days to give up an attitude of, I wish I didn't have to do this stuff, and instead step into an attitude of, look at me. I have all of this. I have an attitude of gratitude because I am growing. And this is all evidence of that. I get to do this because it's allowing me to expand my impact and grow this platform. So, what is an attitude that maybe you've noticed, or a way that your mind gets triggered, something maybe you worry about, something that you think about and it doesn't serve you? What could you turn around? So that's the second level, is maybe you want to give up a behavior, a habit, maybe you want to give up an attitude. Here's the third level for those of you who really want to step into mastery this Lent season. Okay, so the third option is, what if for this Lent season, for this challenge, if you choose to take it on, what if you give up an old way of being, maybe a feeling or an emotion, a way that you show up that you know is not serving you, that is not your highest self? And by that, I mean, what if, if you ever noticed sometimes where you show up, and I'll just kind of play on myself. So that feeling of, oh, I don't want to do this work and I have to do this work. The feeling that goes with that is this feeling of being a victim. It's a beingness, and it's not empowering, and it doesn't feel good, and it's frustrating. And I know that it doesn't serve my highest good. It's like, I am not a victim of my own growth, right? I'm not a victim of needing to create contracts and paperwork for the amazing people that are inviting me to come and speak to them and impact their employees and their teams and their workplaces. Like, what an incredible gift that is. So what if instead of going into a victim spiral, what if instead, for me, I step into a sense of being a powerful business owner? What if I step into the beingness of being a powerful leader who is doing everything that needs to get done to create a transformational experience for the people that I encounter every day? So that's a shift in being. What if instead of poor me, I'm looking at, lucky me, I'm the luckiest person on the planet. Look at the work I get to do. Look at how I get to spend my time. Look at how I'm able to use my gifts to impact people. I am the most blessed, luckiest person I know. Like, wow, it's a different feeling. What if you give up an old feeling an old way of seeing yourself. Maybe it's you see yourself as small, as insignificant. I can't. But what if this is stepping into empowerment, stepping into your fullness of your potential, stepping into the brilliance of who you are, stepping into your strength and your courage, your sense of adventure? Who is it that you could be if you just got that old pattern out of the way? So, 3 ideas for things you can give up. You can give up a habit, a behavior, you can give up an attitude, a mindset, you could give up a feeling, a way of being. What would you choose, and what would it look like at the end of 40 days if you were to let that go? What could you put into that void, into that creative space that would make a difference for you, so that maybe you go back in 40 days, or maybe you don't? Maybe you find something to fill that void that takes care of all the things that you needed out of that old experience, and takes all the things that are toxic, the things that are not serving you, and replaces it with something a little healthier, a little better for you. So that's the challenge. And know that this What If Up community is here to help you at every step of it. The challenge for this week, we offer a challenge to you, a 7-day challenge every week. This week, the challenge is to choose something to let go of and to share it in our community. Share it with a photo that lets us know, like, here's what I let go of, but here's what I'm putting in its place. Anything that you'd like to share related to your experience in letting go, giving something up. Give it up. Give it up and notice what emerges in that space that shows up once you've let go. So that is the challenge. Last week's challenge, just wanted to do a shout out to all of you who participated in the BYOV, Be Your Own Valentine challenge. Some really beautiful, beautiful responses. Congratulations to Sarah Bird, our winner of a What If Upper hoodie. This week, how about we do a prize this week? Will be a coffee mug from our merch store. You can pick the design of your choice, and that'll go out to the winner. So the way to participate, just go into our What If Up community, whatifup.org. You'll go into our Clubhouse, which is our online ecosystem, and there's a tab that says challenges, and that's where you'll find this week's challenge. What if you give it up? And what if in giving something up, it elevates you into new possibilities? What if we have fun doing it? What if we feel the connection of others? What if doing this with others who are giving things up for Lent or for whatever other reasons, what if that gives us peer support, emotional support, literal support in terms of, like, my husband's given up coffee too. We're doing this together. You know that phrase? I was thinking about that phrase today, misery loves company. I like to think of it as mastery loves company. And if you want to master something, master a new way of thinking, a new way of being, a new way of showing up, then do it in community. And that's what we are here to be for you. Whatever it is you want to create, those positive changes you want to create in your life, we are here for you with hope, possibility, and encouragement to help you take that next step. So that is the word for the week. Remember, first Wednesday of the month. We still got a few weeks off on this, but it's coming around the corner. We have a weekly mastermind for our members. Membership is free to join at whatifup.org, and we would love to see you, to support you, and to celebrate your wins as you give something up and step into a higher, hopefully more expansive, freer version of yourself. So thanks for joining me for What If Wednesday. Great to have you here, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Happy Wednesday, everybody. See you next time.